Tremendous here. Got another battle report here for you. 50-point battle. This is number 7 of my War Machine Hordes battle reports. Tis I, Lord Tremendous of Cygnar, versus Sleek Geek of the Retribution. This game was a special treat because this is the game, I know people have told me this already, but this was the game that I learned that elves really do exist in this game more than just mercenaries. I mean, I've read the fluff, I know they're around. I didn't realize that Retribution were elves. And so when my opponent, who's brand new to the game, we're all starting to get into it now. My club is starting to make the shift. So if you see a lot of unpainted models, we're not lazy. We're just new. We're getting into the game. So give us time. We will paint. Calm down. But yes, when he put his army across the table from me and I looked at the cards, take the pictures, and saw elves, a special sadistic part of my heart started to get warm. And once the doctor told me that I wasn't going to die, I realized that it was just pure joy that I get to commit genocide to a whole new race of elves. I was so pleased. So sit back, relax, and get ready to see how many elves I kill in this one.
The Almighty says this must be a fashionable fight. It's drawn the finest people.
Here's my list, and it is exactly the same from the last battle report because I didn't change my list up or nothing. I after my last game. I mean, this game took place minutes after my first one wrapped up. I still have Captain Jeremiah Cray, because, you know, he's my chosen caster at the moment, who's got his squire attached to him. He's also got the Thunderhead, the Charger, and the Sentinel, all attached to him. Then I have my Journeyman Warcaster with the Hammersmith and the Sentinel, the second Sentinel, attached to him. And then I have my Arcane Tempest Gun Mages with an Arcane Tempest Gun Mage Officer who has a Defender attached to him. I also have Captain Arlen Strangeways, and he's my focus-giving Repairman. Here's my opponent's list, and he has a whole slew of elves for me to kill. He's got a House Shael Magister, who's some sort of mage solo. He's got two Mage Hunter Assassins, and these guys have a 4-inch reach when it comes to melee. That is a ranged attack in any other army, so a little insane. He's also got a Griffin Retribution. It's a light warjack, basically. He's got House Shael Battle Mages. I think it's, well, yeah, obviously it's just a unit of 6 of them. And then he's got the mercenary Silas Wishalar the Seeker. That's some crazy stupid elf name I don't like. I don't like it at all. Then he's got a Chimera, another light jack of the Elven Persuasion. He's got Iris, Eirys, the elf solo mercenary character that everybody friggin' uses. And then he's got a big unit, a full unit of Mage Hunter Strike Force, and these guys are something else. They get when they attack a Warjack or something like that, get like 3 dice for wounds. They auto boost or something like that because they are, well, Mage Hunter type guys. Yeah, they wreck jacks. Let me tell you, oof. Then he's got Alara Tyro of the Third Chamber, which is basically like a mini caster. With a Manticore attached to her, and he's their heavy warjack, I guess. And then he's got an Arcanist, which is a Retribution solo. He's also got Adeptus Ron, I guess is how you pronounce that, leading this army. That's his warcaster, his general, if you will. And he's got a Phoenix, heavy Myrmidon, attached to him as well. Here's deployment, and I just kind of went with what I did last time. Nothing special, nothing clever, nothing unique. The 6 jacks are in front. I put the defender on top of the hill to give him +2 defense, and, you know, because now I can see over smaller bases and stuff like that. I like the elevation. I also set my defender up over there because those elves on the side there, the 3 solo characters, all stealth and have concealment and all that. My opponent did not realize at the time that my defender has that whole true sight thing, thanks to the gun mage officer and all that other good stuff. Not to mention my gun mages all had it as well. So I was hoping that by the time I got to go and shoot at that unit, they would all be very, very dead. Because solo characters are scary to me, and I like killing the Iris chick or whatever because, you know, I know how dangerous she is. So that was why they set up over there. The rest of the army, like I said, they just set up across the middle because I knew that his stuff was going to come to me, and I was going to shoot it up the best I could, and then send in everybody to destroy them. I've never faced this army before. I don't know anything about them. My opponent did say, "Come at me, bro." This was not a training game. This was a full-on, let's punch each other in the face. We're still not doing scenarios yet. Neither of us are ready, but those are coming soon. Relax. And yeah. So that's why I deployed as I did. Here's my opponent's right flank. In the front there on the right is Iris, however you pronounce that, and his two mage hunter assassins. Behind them is the big unit of mage hunters, I believe. And then here's his center. That unit of little guys is the gun mage fighters. I can't remember what they're called. Battle mages, yeah, which is kind of an oxymoron. But yeah, they're back there. There's a bunch of little lone characters. Right in the middle back there, I believe, is his warcaster. In front is the Manicore Jack, the big one there. Right next to him is the Phoenix. And then behind him are the two baby Jacks. I don't know which is which. I'm sorry. Here's my center. From right to left, there is my Charger, my Thunderhead, my two Sentinels. Behind them is my proxied Strange Ways model. And behind him is my Squire and my Warcaster, Cray. And my left flank. From left to right, there's my Gun Mages. On the back right there, right behind the Hammersmith, which is right next to the Gun Mages, is my Gun Mage Officer. My Defender's on the hill, and behind him is my Babycaster. Here's how the end of turn one goes. I got to go first. Nothing really interesting happened at all. I came forward with pretty much everything. Some ran, some didn't. Nothing really got in range. I did try to shoot at Iris with my defender, and I missed. I did boost the hit and everything, and I missed. I rolled really poorly. Jeremiah Crate did cast Mage Sight in the middle there. Their little blue dot in the middle there is Mage Sight. That's where the 5-inch AoE center is, and I will let everybody know right now, I did that wrong. When I read the card, it was like I misunderstood what it said. Simple as that. The whole AoE has to be within his command range. I just thought it had to be targeted in his like command range. Like you couldn't have just center going past it. I don't know where I thought that. I'm an idiot. So that dot is actually way further out than it should be, about 2 inches further out, and that's not corrected until the next game. I apologize in advance. I made a mistake, and I'm just trying to own it. Other than that, the rest of my army, I'm sorry, the gun mages fell back because I didn't know what this guy could do. I didn't know what his range was. I knew they were elves, so I assumed they excelled at shooting. And so I backed the gun mages off because they're really not for combat. They're more for keeping the gun mage officer alive so that he can continue to manipulate the defender. That was it. My opponent goes next, obviously, and really, he doesn't do a whole heck of a lot. His gun mage assassin guys, they come sprinting up the middle, one a little bit faster than the other. He was trying to skirt the mage sight bubble. The rest of his army, I'm sorry, not the gun mage, but the mage hunter unit, the big one, they go into the water to get a little bit of defense, concealment, stealth, whatever. His right flank there, our right flank, his left, kind of do a little traffic jam thing. The two heavies kind of get behind the two lights. He had something planned. I don't know what, but yeah, he seemed to be lining me up for something. I'm not really sure. I don't recall if he got any spells off or if he did anything like that. It was nothing overly great. The one thing that did occur that was, huge lucky on my part was Iris tried her disruption shot on my defender and missed. So she returned the favor, which I thought was very nice. So we go over into my turn, and the first thing that happens is my Charger, who, has all the focus given to him, that he can muster, 3, fires at this guy, the little light Warjack in front of me there, and I roll out of the box. I'm not even going to lie to you. I mean, look at the card. That's after 2 shots. He's got 1 wound left. I almost killed the Griffin. That's what he is. He's a Griffin, sorry. With 2 shots from the Charger. Both were boosted because with the Charger, he's got powerful shot or something like that, and if you boost it to hit, you also boost the damage for 1 focus. So I love the Charger. He was also able to come up, fire twice, and then back up because he has the light cav rule thanks to Cray, and the Griffin took all the shields out, and all he has is 1 Cortex box open left, and that was a truly amazing shot. A couple of shots. Other than that, the other thing I forgot to get a picture of. Here's the end of my turn too, so you can see it. My defender turned to face slightly, but then he still had in his forward arc that Iris chick or whatever. I fired at her this time and killed her, so that was something else. My Sentinel moved up and fired away at the mages in the drink there, and I wasn't able to do anything to them. That Sentinel is not attached to Cray, and so could not fall back. He doesn't have the light cav rule. My what's it called? My defender, like I said, killed Iris, which was nice. And then my gun mages moved up, and since they have, true sight, they fired at the closest assassin and murdered him with the snipe shot. It actually took all of them because I wasted all my good rolls on the charger. I shouldn't say wasted, but I used all my good rolls on the charger. Also, Cray moves up and moves mage sight so that I can see the little guy so that the rest of my stuff can charge or shoot at him next turn if needs be. Or he just moves out of the way. Either way, it was fine. Other than that, the Thunderhead and the other Sentinel and everything like that just kind of position themselves to get ready to deal with whatever my opponent's about to do. And I upkeep Arcane Shield on my defender, which I cast on him last turn. Sorry. So we go into my opponent's turn, and he introduces me to just how friggin' good these Mage Hunter guys are, this Archer unit that the elves have. With all their attacks, they come up out of the water, walk within range of the Sentinel, and shoot him half to death. He's got like 1 or 2 boxes left open. He's got 2 boxes, 1 movement, 1 cortex left on his entire model. They ripped this poor guy to shreds. And with Captain Strangeways as far back as he is, and those guys just begging for the opportunity to shoot at something living, I'm leaving this Sentinel to die. We will repair him or reconstitute other ones after this game. Holy crap, I did not realize how dangerous that unit is. Then over here, I don't remember what it is that shoots at my Sentinel, but whatever it is does fills in block 5 and 6 and does 1 to block 1, taking out my left arm, I believe, which is my gun, which really, really sucks. Then, again, I don't remember exactly what it is. I think this is a spell. Something hits my Thunderhead and causes 3 points of damage to him, which I am not pleased about. Thunderhead does not get shot at, damn it. So here's what the board looks like at the end of my opponent's turn 2. His stuff has come up and is super dangerous. His mage assassin character on the left flank there did charge my gun mages, but when he rolled to hit, he flubbed. He missed completely, which thank God they have defense 15. But they're in combat with him because he has a 4-inch range. Could not believe that. So yeah, little nervous about that. I don't know what my gun mages are going to do because they're really not for combat. Wasn't expecting that, but as long as my officer lives just a little bit longer, it's not a huge big deal. If he kills my gun mage officer that the defender is attached to, the defender will just become autonomous, which means he can still function, he can still fight, but there is no boosting anything. There's no charging, no running, no marching. He's a very basic model defender, which still makes him dangerous, but just not as much as he could be. Other than that, though, like you can see, a lot of his stuff just kind of moved around. His heavily damaged, I think the Griffin guy, he backed off. He's behind the little ruins there. He's in the back of all of his jacks because he wants to repair him. And the other one moved up because he has some arc node on him and he had a plan. He wanted to do something with that guy and needed him up front in order to do it. So we go into my turn, and the first thing I do, not really wanting to be countercharged by 2 heavies and a light that's somewhat damaged. I still am not really sure what these elves can do in combat, but I figured like anything else elvish, they have really low constitutions, but really good really strong attacks. So I used my Thunderhead's whatever it's called, the little pew-pew shot that he's got. I can't remember what it's called, sorry. I'm new! But yeah, he ends up doing that to him when I hit with it, and as you can see, I do a decent amount of damage with him. I almost half kill the damn thing, and I disrupt him, making it impossible for him to give him any kind of focus or anything like that. So I figured if he did want to use the arc node for anything, he was going to have a real problem doing it with this thing being disrupted. So felt good about that. Other than that, nothing really interesting happens in my turn. All my gun mages pile in to the assassin guy and are not able to hit him whatsoever. He's so fast. He's so fast. I think that's not true. I think I did 1 point of damage to him. Maybe that's it. So these guys are in a ton of trouble next turn. I expect the unit to be dead, to be perfectly honest. The rest of my stuff kind of came up. My one sentinel that had like 2 blocks left just charged into the unit of mage hunter guys, but their defense was so high I couldn't do anything to them. I couldn't hit them. I only have 1 dice to hit them with. It was just maybe I should have trampled or something or slammed one. I didn't think of it. I just charged in, and I got him in there. I don't know what I was thinking. It was a stupid move. I should have slammed or trampled or anything other than just simply charged. My mistake. I will make more. Sorry. Other than that, though, my sentinel moved over a little bit and fired at the light guy, but wasn't able to do anything. The other one, like I said, went into combat. The Chargers shot at some of the mage guys, and I missed. Just terrible shooting. So we're all kind of on the hill, just hoping for that +2 defense and trying to back away from the impending doom. So we go into my opponent's turn, and they just walk around the Sentinel. They couldn't care less. He does get his free strikes, but they aren't able to do anything to them. They open up on the Sentinel on top of the hill, and even with the +2 defense, which was really nothing, they rip this thing to pieces. They killed my Sentinel in 1 volley of shots. I believe the gun made the battle mages helped out a little bit. I'm not sure if they did or not, but they did move up, so I'm not I don't remember if they actually helped out or not. But end result is the same. My sentinel got obliterated, and that's sad. And then this guy, I don't know who this solo character is, but he ran over and did the last 2 points of damage to my other sentinel, destroying it as well. Then over here, I believe one of his casters. I don't know if it's his main warcaster or if it's the little baby one. One of them does something and fires off a spell at my charger and puts like 12 wounds on him right down the middle. I believe he's stationary now, or his movement's all messed up. I can't remember which. But yeah, it was a really good shot. And that was really about it. Here's what the table looks like at the end of his turn 3. For the most part, I'm down 2 sentinels. He did forget. We did not realize it until I was halfway done with my turn 4, but he had forgotten to attack my gun mages during his turn. So we just chalked it up as he forgot. Just trying to keep it fair. Other than that, though, my stuff his stuff kind of moves up. He's getting ready to do a whole bunch of bad things to me, and I'm not pleased about that. Also, during his turn, when he tried to put focus onto the disrupted light warjack of his that I disrupted with Thunderhead last turn, he didn't realize that disruption meant he couldn't put focus on him. I guess whatever he needed to do required focus. He wasn't able to do it. I never fully understood what he was planning on doing, but I'm happy whatever it was failed. So we go into my turn, and my hammerhead tramples, or whatever it is, where you just run through a bunch of infantry and do a whole bunch of damage to them, and that worked out great because all but 3 of the little I think I killed 5. I think one of my guys shot at these things a little bit. I'm not 100% on that. I don't remember, but I know the hammerhead ran in there and trampled 5 of these little bastards, which was great because their command check, they failed. They literally rolled boxcars, which is why my dice are there. And so the remaining 3 mage hunters are now like, and either have to run or cower next turn, and that's fantastic. Why I didn't do that with the Sentinel to begin with is beyond me. And then my defender deciding, enough of this long range crap, I need to get in here. I charge the, what's it called? The Griffin, I think he is. I'm not really sure. Manticore, whatever one. It's not the Phoenix. No, I'm sorry. It's right in front of me. The Manticore. I charged with him, and all I wanted to do was hit with the shock hammer. That's all I wanted to do because I wanted to disrupt him. I figured if he couldn't have any focus next turn, how much of a threat could he possibly be? And my defender did outstandingly well with his hit. I was able to. I did boost a hit. I did not boost the damage, but he was still hitting pretty hard with his hammer there, and did a significant amount of damage, as you can see. Wasn't enough to really cripple anything, but his shields are down and his 1 and 2 blocks are damaged. So my original theory about these guys were right. If their offense is real strong, but they're in their bathrobes, so hurting them isn't exactly difficult. And then my Thunderhead charges into the Light Warjack, and is within range of the Heavy Warjack where I placed him. So his impact hit goes into the Light Warjack and knocks him out, just finishes him off. That's how weak that thing was. The Thunderhead did really well. I didn't boost it or nothing. I was rolling well. I'll give you all that. But yeah, I'm able to pretty much take out the Light Warjack with the slam or with the charge, because as a heavy Warjack with Cray attached to him, he has the Cav rule. So that was really nice. I think I did have to punch him once with my Thunderhead, the light one, in order to finish him off. Then I directed the rest of my other free attack with the left hand into the Phoenix, and then all three of my other attacks. Well, I'm sorry, that's not true. I bought one more attack, which hit automatically because the original one did, because he has sustained attack, and that means if the original attack hits, then every attack with that particular weapon after that hits automatically. So I bought another attack, boosted it, did a, if you'll forgive the pun, tremendous amount of damage, and then with the second bought attack, I was able to finish off the Phoenix completely thanks to Thunderhead. I would have disrupted him as well if he was still alive. So Thunderhead, in one round of combat, was able to finish off the Light Warjack and the Phoenix, quote-unquote, single-handedly. Then over here, the Charger, not to be forgotten, moved up, fired at. There was a little guy that would repair things. He was up against one of the light warjacks or the heavy warjack, but when it was destroyed, it became wreckage. We just turned the models backwards because we don't have the wreckage markers yet. Like I said, we're still new, we're still learning, we're still getting our models and stuff together. But yes, my Charger was now able to draw a line of sight to the character because the Warjack was gone. Just wreckage. He did have cover because I guess he was base to base with it, but it didn't matter because I rolled outstanding. I boosted the shot because why not? And I was able to drop whatever little character was behind him, no problem. And so yes, elves are falling left and right, and I feel good about it. And then over here, Captain Strangeways, my gun mages all attacked this damn assassin yet again, and they all failed to even hurt him. Like I said, I think maybe this turn I did 1 damage to him. I think I got lucky. But still, he had like 4 wounds left, and he's not going to forget to attack with him again. So, Captain Strangeways has a spray template attack. He fired it into this unit, clipping 2 of my guys and the Mage Hunter Assassin, and he killed the 2 mage arcane tempest mage officer or hunters or whatever that I have, and the assassin of my opponent. So it cost me 2 of my gun mages, but I did get the assassin. Captain Strangeways may want to stay away from the Arcane Tempest guys for a little while, but friendly fire is on in this game. It's a legit tactic, so it felt dirty. It did made me feel kind of bad that I did that, but it worked, and I guess that's part of the game. So here's what the board looks like at the end of my turn 4. As you can see, a lot of his jacks are dead, dying, or disrupted. His archers are cowering or fleeing this turn. He's got a couple of little characters around, and I'm feeling pretty good about this. I'm enjoying killing the elves, I won't lie. My Journeyman Caster ran up so that he could be within range of the Hammersmith next turn. I know it was really dangerous to do that, but I'm willing to sacrifice him if that means the rest of the army can deal with stuff. If he's pulling stuff towards my Journeyman Caster, he's exposing his Warcaster, and my Thunderhead is in beautiful position to deal with him next turn. Cray comes off the hill and hides behind the Charger just in case something silly happens that I don't see coming. I was a little nervous. I don't know what these guys can do. My Squire stays within 5 inches of Cray, but he's behind the hill, just for that cover save or whatever, or blocking line of sight, however that works. And that's about it. So we go into my opponent's turn, and the first thing that happens is these little battle mage guys that I was laughing about earlier. They charge into the rear of the defender who's currently engaged with the manticore. Well, the manticore obviously couldn't have any focus distributed to it, so my opponent was a little miffed about that. Totally understandable. So the battle mages charge into the rear of my defender and just start beating the poop out of him. I don't even mind telling you, these things, they have like 2 attacks each, and they're quite impressive. Very, very impressive to say the least. They do a decent amount of damage to my poor defender. It doesn't knock anything off him, it doesn't cripple anything, but it does some significant damage to him, and makes me realize where the threats were not that obvious in this one. And then his Warcaster casts some sort of spell at my Thunderhead, pushing him back 3 or 4 inches from where he was and doing like 1 point of damage. It wasn't a whole lot. It did knock him down or anything like that, but it did push him back. And I don't fully understand why he did that. I guess he was worried about me charging him or whatnot, but it is what it is. So that was really, for the most part, it. He did fall. There's what the table looks like at the end of his turn 4. His Mage Hunter unit that was panicked last turn did flee. They ran away as far as they could, as you can see. They ran towards the middle of the board and back there. And the rest of his stuff, for the most part, just kind of repositioned a little bit. His Warcaster and one of his little buddies, I don't know too. I think that's an attached individual. I'm not sure. They moved back a little bit, and they're centrally located, but that's really about it. Nothing else really going on. So we start up my turn, and my Hammersmith activates. I put all the focus on him that the little Journeyman Warcaster could channel, generate, whatever, and he puts both hammers into this severely damaged. Oh gosh, I don't remember what he's called. Griffith? Yeah, Griffin. Yeah, that's what it is. And since he did repair him once during the game, but it was only like 4 hit boxes worth of health. My Hammersmith had no problem just decimating this thing with his hammers. As you can see, I only had to use 1 focus to boost the attack because I couldn't charge him. I just moved into combat with him. I couldn't charge him because it was less than 3 inches. I mean, I could have, it just wouldn't have done anything. So I moved into base to base with him and beat him unmerciful with one of my hammers, boosting the damage and killing him outright, which was nice. And then Thunderhead, really upset that he got pushed, runs in, charges the, oh gosh, what is he, the Manicore? And just the impact hits alone, we're able to do a little bit of damage to him, but I hit with both attacks, the remaining attacks auto hit, and I'm able to, with 1 focus left, I only put 3 on him, relax. But with 1 focus left, I was able to finish off the Manticore, killing all the Jacks, which is very, very exciting. I've never done that before, and I'm glad it could be elves. Then the Charger moves up and fires at the little guy. He fires his first shot at the little guy next to the Warcaster, the Elven Warcaster, which turned out to be the Baby Caster, I believe, and killed him. And then with his second shot, he buys another shot, and then he boosts it, and he puts that shot onto the Warcaster himself, hitting and doing 4 points of damage to the Lunatic. And I'm glad to know that he's bleeding. And then over here, just because I'm feeling brave, Cray charges into these battle mages and is able to kill 2. Unfortunately, after he does that, I'm not able to get into combat with anymore. I don't think that he can move forward after killing or anything like that. I don't think he has like follow-up or anything. So he sits in the back. But if you can see it, I did not pay for Arcane Shield. So it's there on the Defender, but I didn't pay for its upkeep. It's not there. Don't worry about it. Ignore it. Stuff like that. So here's what the table looks at the end of my turn 5. There's not a whole lot of Retribution left on the table, but my guys, I mean, my Sentinels are still smoking in the field as well. His Warcaster is up there bleeding from the eyes. His Mage Hunter guys, I'm sorry, I forgot to mention this, but after they fled, they did make their command checks, so they have rallied, and that's going to be a problem because I know they're going to put some damage onto one of my units. But yeah, that's really how the board looks. Some of my stuff moved up. My gun mages moved up and took some pot shots and stuff, but it didn't do anything significant, and that's really about it. So we go into my opponent's turn, and the battle mages shift over, and I'm sorry, not the battle mages, but the mage hunters shift over now that they've rallied and fire at Kraid, going for that assassination attempt, and it's not. Excuse me, it's not super effective because he's not a jack, but they are still able to do 4 points of damage to Cray, and that hurts. And then my defender gets pushed by whatever it was that his Warcaster cast at my Thunderhead last turn, pushing him, just missing Cray, which I guess really isn't that big of a... No, actually, that was a big deal because he got knocked back, because he got knocked down. The defender got knocked down because it was a crit, I think is what it was. But again, he just missed my Warcaster. As you can see, there's a little tiny gap there, but my defender gets pushed and knocked down, and that's sad. And then the battle mages smelling blood in the water. Now that the defender is knocked down, he's not hard to hit. And as you can see, they almost kill my defender. He's got maybe a dozen wounds left on him. Not dead yet, but seriously, seriously damaged. So with that being said and done, there's what the table looks like at the end of my opponent's turn 5. The defender is down, knocked out, and hurting, but not dead yet. Cray has not popped his feet yet, but I could. I haven't decided if I'm going to or not. Other than that, I mean, there's really not much left on the table. You pretty much heard everything that happened. So we go into my turn, and Thunderhead, I don't even waste any time. I put 3 focus on Thunderhead, and he charges. I do pop my feet at this point, just so I don't have to burn focus to charge, and make sure Thunderhead can make it, because he did have to go over all that rough terrain. He does make the charge. He gets into the Elven Warcaster, and beats him like he's Krios. And killing elves is something I truly, truly enjoy. But there it is. There's the end of the game. And I know you're asking yourself, was that scream really necessary? Yes, that's how elves die. That's their death rattle. So expect to hear it more often. But here's what the table looks like at the end of the game. A lot of smoldering jacks on both sides of the table, and a dead elven warcaster, because we don't take prisoners when it comes to elves. Retribution is now my favored enemy. And for those of you that don't know, I have a deep in my soul seated racist hatred for anything elf in any genre and any forum, any kind of format, period. If it's elf, I don't like it at all. And we'll explain that later on if you're really not interested. But you know what? We will get to the recap in a minute, because right now this game is over.
Please begin emergency evacuation procedures. This is not a drill.
Hey guys and gals, all you wargamer nuts. Right here we've got an ad for Token Gal. She makes tokens for every game system, every possible requirement, every need. If it's a war game, if it's a tabletop game, if it's a board game, if it's a card game, if you need tokens, wound counters, spell counters, afflictions, hexes, augments, anything at all, send her an email. Tell her what you need. Hell, if you want certain pictures put on there, tell her what pictures you're looking for. Not only will she find it and make it, but she will charge you, really, really fair prices. And I mean really fair. Don't take my word for it, though. Send her an email. Tell her what you need. Get yourself some tokens. You're not going to regret it. And tell her Tremendous sent you. So, yes, I'm starting to either figure this game out or I'm clubbing baby seals. But considering I'm a baby seal myself, I think that makes it okay. I'm not really sure on the etiquette on that one. But it was a victory for Lord Tremendous. Thunderhead was able to electrocute the elf caster with his mitts of fury at the end. And by electrocute, I mean remove his soul the hard way. I ended up losing both my Sentinels in this one. Sleep Geek ended up losing his Warcaster, his Phoenix, Elara Tyro, his Manticore, his Arcanist, Iris, and I'm really starting to enjoy killing her. His Chimera, his Griffin, and his both of his Mage Hunter Assassins. But like I said, still absolutely love killing elves. It sates a need I have deep in my soul. I was actually very surprised when I saw an actual army of elves on the table. Because honestly, right now I only own the War Machine Prime rulebook, the that's all I have. So that's really the only armies I know that exist other than Scorn. And like I know Everblight exists, I know Trollbloods exist, I know minions exist, stuff like that. But I had no idea Retribution was a thing. I had heard of them a little bit. I'd seen names, but I just figured that was the name of a warcaster. I had no idea. So when I saw that there were actual elves like as an army in this game, I thought that was great because now I have a favorite enemy. My opponent is very new to this game. We both made mistakes. He made some as well. Don't fault him. Don't judge him too harshly about this. We're very new to this game. My club is just starting to get into it now that, we've given up on everything Games Workshop. So please try to understand, this is not a game that is going to impress any kind of veteran to this game. We're having fun. We're really enjoying this game. I know we're doing a lot of rookie stuff wrong. Please point it out in the comments section. I respect that. I need that. We need that. We all watch these battle reports, especially, my opponents when they're playing the game and stuff, just to go back over everything. So yes, if you don't mind pointing it out, I would appreciate it. But don't judge him too harshly. He did kill 2 Sentinels, and my Charger was amazing in this game. Took out a Light Jack almost all by himself. I did roll incredible. Took out a solo character. Took out the baby Warcaster. Put 4 points of damage on the big Warcaster. Oh man, he was something else. The Charger is definitely endearing himself to me. But speaking of endearing yourself to me, Thunderhead once again was an MVP in this game. Granted, he's my new model. I love my model. I love his abilities. I love even his name, Thunderhead. Sounds like a really pissed off like shaman or something. Absolutely love it. But he took down 3 Jacks. And by took down, I mean he finished them off. I know he didn't single-handedly kill any. Well, I guess he did kind of single-handedly kill the Phoenix. But beat them down. And granted, I know they were elven ones, but I felt really good about that. And then got a hold of the Warcaster in the end and did the electrocution bear hug, which I really, really enjoy. So yes, Thunderhead, my wife is actually going to paint him so he looks suitably awesome. Mage Hunter Assassins have a 4-inch range for melee combat. That's a god frickin' dang ranged attack for any other army. I am more than impressed with the range that those guys have. And from now on, they will get first attention when I'm shooting with my True Sight unit. That model alone could have finished off my gun. Maybe just had my opponent remembered he was there. But by the time he did, we were significantly into my turn, and my opponent just said, "Well, I missed it. That's what I get." He was totally mature about it. Don't get me wrong. He was disappointed he forgot, but he wasn't like, "Oh, let me do it now that I remembered," and blah blah blah. Nope, nope. That's not how we roll, baby. Also, his Mage Hunter Strike Force. They're Jack Melters. They were single-handedly responsible for killing both the Sentinels and doing significant, fear to the rest of my stuff. I dedicated an entire Hammersmith to their demise because they scared the hell out of me. Could not believe how much damage those guys were able to put out. Really, really dangerous. If you see them and you like your Jacks, take them out as quick as possible. They're absolutely Jack Melters. They're amazing. Just to say something positive about Retribution, even though I hate elves, their Jacks are probably the most gorgeous models I've seen in the entire War Machine collection. If they weren't elves, I would actually drop Cygnar to play Retribution just because I love the way their Jacks look. However, lucky for my Cygnar army, they are elven based and I don't play elves. I don't like knife eaters. They suck. But they're also surprisingly fragile. Even the heavy ones, I killed them and I was like, really? Are you sure you did the numbers right? And he's like, yeah. I mean, they really shocked me. Now, granted, I was rolling out of the box this game for damage. I really, really was. I don't make any excuses for that. I'm very pleased that I did. But yeah, the amount of damage that they could take was surprisingly small, especially the light jacks. They were very light, like featherweight. But I guess that's proper for elves. They are glass cannons, and they're Jack's match. But I really did enjoy this game, not just because I got to kill elves, but because I really do enjoy facing this opponent. He's a good guy. He's a fun opponent, and I honestly I really enjoyed watching the Jacks. I mean, they're really beautiful models. Uh, really enjoyed learning about this army too, seeing what they could and couldn't do. You know, it was the first game I've ever played against them, so that was really exciting. But yeah, great game, great opponent, and I cannot wait to get the rematch. But yeah, guys, that's going to do it for this battle report, number 7 of my War Machine Horde series. As always, if you have any questions, comments, concerns, or complaints, feel free to put them in the comment section below, and I will get back to you as quick as I can. But yeah, guys, thanks.